Alright, how we doing? Oh yeah, I know I don't own the rights to the music, I know. But Uncle Al, he doesn't give a shit if I spend a few seconds just playing the music off your channel, YouTube, so violate your own self. It's off your channel, you did it. Just using it for educational purposes only. So get off my ass. How we all doing today here at the hashtag we still got more rocking to do, bitch. Whew, little escape for myself to do this show because I got so much stuff going on my personal side right now, which we're not going to get into because this is not about the personal side of my life. This is about the rock and roll review of current rock and roll shows, or sometimes a little older rock and roll shows I maybe went to a couple years ago or whatever. You know, we're going to talk about some shit. So how we doing? I've already done the theme song, so I got to go over, this is episode 23 of season 2 now, which means the 48th episode overall. So this show was at the Virgin Hotel Casino. We've been here before, haven't we? I know you've heard me mention it a few times over different bands and stuff, so we don't have to really go over, I can't remember how many in attendance there was for this show as far as, capacity of the theater and all that. I remember, the capacity of the theater here at the Virgin, I think, was around 35 or 4,000, whatever. I honestly don't know. I got to the floor. I was about 3 rows deep. I turned around every once in a while to look, but where I was at, it's hard. It was hard for me to tell how busy it was. It was busy. I don't know if it was a packed house or not. It seemed like it was a pretty good sized crowd though, so we'll just go with that. It was a good sized crowd. I don't know if it was a sold out show. It might have been. All I do know is that there was 3 bands. This show happened last Thursday, April 4th, here in 2024. Like I said, the Virgin Hotel Theater at the Virgin Hotel Casino, whatever, blah, blah, blah. All right, here we go. So, like I said, I was on the floor, general admission kind of shit, I was 3 rows deep, because, I didn't get there. I'm not going to get there super early, but what I do is I try to make sure I go to the restroom really good, and then just I have a water or two in my cargo pants, my cargo shorts pockets as I'm because once I get to the floor and I got my spot, especially if I'm by myself and I don't bring anybody with me like this show, I don't have anybody to save my spot, and I wanted this spot and I wanted my spot, and that was the spot I wanted, and I didn't want to lose it, so I try to go to the restroom. And then once I get to that spot on the floor, I try to stay in that spot for the whole show. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes, you're like, I got to go to the restroom. It just has to be, but other times you can do it. So, and I did it. Whew. Anyway, the first band out was called Frontline Assembly. They're from Vancouver, Canada, 85, 86. 1985, 86 is when they're kind of created. I've never heard of them, but they had a following. There was people there with Frontline Assembly shirts on that looked like they were older shirts, not less like something they just bought at the merch stand. So they had some kind of following. I never heard of them. That's another reason why I love to go to these shows, because then I find out about other bands and stuff like that. And this band was pretty good. It's a lot of what they call, like I said, if you mix shit into genres and shit, this would be more industrial or electric rock is what a lot of people call it. All 3 of these bands pretty much. Kind of like a 9 Inch Nails kind of thing. That's kind of the theme of the show. It's kind of industrial rock show. Electronic rock show kind of, But the first song out was called IED. And then the next song was Vigilante, Into Neologic Spasm. Plasticity was the 4th song. Dead End was the 5th. Killing Grounds, Mind Phaser, and then they finished up their set with Millennium. like I said, it was really good opening band for an opening band. Like I've always said, if you're going to be an opener, just don't suck. You don't have to be great, just don't suck. And they were good, though. They were actually really good. I was surprised. Like I said, I didn't know anything about them. I paid to see Ministry. The other bands that are there are just bonus for me. So I was pretty happy. Frontline Assembly, you guys rocked. Thank you very much for doing that. That was cool. So, second band out was Gary Numan. Originally, his real name is Gary Anthony James Webb. I'm not going to be going over a whole lot of band members and stuff in these three bands. I'm pretty much just going to do it like the heavy hitters. Like for Gary Numan, I'll talk about Gary Numan. And then like when we get to Ministry, I'm probably only going to mention Al Jorgensen. So back to Gary Numan. Like I said, his real name, Gary Anthony James Webb. Formed, he had many bands coming out of the late 70s that he was in. One called Riot, another one called Heroin, the Stilettos, the Lasers, Two-Boy Army, which, Two-Boy Army, that could be like a name for like a 90s porn, like Two-Boy Army or something, I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. But Gary Numan, I didn't know anything about Gary Numan from what I thought. Some of you might remember the song. Let me give you a little, this ain't exact lyrics, of course, but I'll give you like my rendition of this song. It was called Cars, okay? It goes something like, here in my car, I whack off all day long. I beat off in the sun. I beat off in my car in cars. And in between, it's like, dun, dun, dun. I hated that fucking song. But that was, and Gary Numan actually hates that fucking song too. He's the one who wrote it. He hates it though, because he hates that was the song that people think of him when they think of like commercial hits for Gary Numan. That's the song, which the rest of his set sounds nothing like the Cars song. He actually played Cars in this set. A lot of times he doesn't play it, apparently, from what some of the other set lists I've seen. I didn't see it in some of the other set lists, but he probably figured I'll play it for these fucking people in Vegas just because that's what they want. But, I mean, you know, I was impressed with all the other songs because, like I said, I didn't know much about him. I didn't pay to see Gary Numan. I was paying to see Ministry. But Gary Numan puts on a hell of a live show. I was completely surprised. Almost as surprised if you remember when I did the Striper review and how surprised I was about how Striper was. So I was almost that surprised. I was like, man, Gary Numan, he's not just some dude here in my car. You know, it's fucking, no, man. That just happened to be the one song that for some reason was commercially big. I don't understand. Man, a lot of cocaine was done in the 80s, I think. A lot of cocaine, a lot of alcohol. Wasn't heroin still big in the 80s? I don't know. I was a little kid in the 80s, so, but I just, yeah. Anyway, let's get to the song list. First song, Everything Comes Down to This. Does a song called Halo next. The Chosen. Metal. Fifth song was called Pure. Does a song called Love, Hurt, and Bleed. That was a pretty good song, man. Like I said, I was completely surprised about how good it was. I really was. I did not think it was going to be I wasn't expecting that. Is this world not enough? And then he played number 8 was Cars. Yeah. Anyway, the next song after that was Haunted. Song 10, Prayer for the Pain You Serve. That's good. And then My Name is Ruin. And a Prayer for the Unborn. It's a song about abortion. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I made a joke. It was just a joke. I mean, it might, I don't know. But I don't think it is. I was just joking. Don't get mad at me, please. Come on. Be better. I'm just joking. Don't be offended. All right, let's get to Ministry. Ministry. They rocked. They rocked. I had a great time. It was an awesome show. They rocked. Ministry was great. Second time I got to see them, I seen them on the last Slayer tour, which I guess it's not technically the last Slayer tour anymore since they're back, which is cool, but now I can't say I got to see Slayer's last show in Vegas. Now I'm going to have to see them again when they make that Vegas date, which you guys better. We're waiting. Anyway, back to Ministry. Ministry was formed by pretty much Al Jorgensen is the main guy, the leader of the band. From what I heard, he at least co-writes every single Ministry song that's ever been made. I don't know how true that is. That's what I've been heard. At least co-writes or writes it all completely. I'm just saying, I mean, he always, like every single song by Ministry that's ever been done, he's at least had, a good hand in it. Wasn't like, the guitarist and bassist over here wrote a song. It was like, here you go, Al, here's a song for you. Like Al helped write that shit or wrote it all by himself. So, 1981, all the way back in which I didn't even know that Ministry had gone back that far. And I was talking to some people before the show in the crowd and stuff, and I kind of learned some stuff too, because I didn't know that they went back that far. I think the first album came out in like 82 or 83. I'll have to check that to be sure, but from what this guy was telling me, and I didn't realize they went back that far. My favorite album by them was Psalm 69, and that was in the very early 90s. And that's when I thought they pretty much came out, was around that time. I was wrong. So, but like I've told you before, if I'm ever wrong about something, and I know I'm wrong, like when somebody makes me realize, or I realize it on my own, I don't mind coming back and telling you, hey man, I messed up, I was wrong here. So, pretty much Al Jorgensen kind of has the nickname throughout the music industry as Uncle Al. That's real. People know him as Uncle Al. Even other musicians, other big time musicians, that's Uncle Al. But he does kind of tend to get a little more left wing, which is with his music, which when it comes to music, I try to keep it like, let's not get political with it at all. But he really shoves that boundary on the left as far as like he's going to kind of put it in your face a little bit. But I'm not going to get political with this review just because you know how I like to keep the review about the review. Even though if his left pushing stuff is kind of getting in there a little bit, we can just kind of gloss over that just because I'm going to concentrate on the music part and the musicianship of the other guys up there too. He may ever have other guys in the band that maybe not like a couple of the tunes that he was doing. That's kind of one of those kind of songs, but they're just, they're like, hey, we're getting paid. Just play the goddamn song. We'll move on to the next one. So the first song out of the set, well, real quick before... like I said, he started in 81, ended the band in 2008, realized he still got more rocking to do, bitch. Brought it back in 2011, has been going strong since then to present time now. So, 27, and then you got another 13, so about 40 years in existence of the band. 40 years strong. So that's pretty good. Like I said, you got to blank out 3 of those years there because there wasn't an Ministry there for 3 years. So now we get into the set list. First song out was called BDE, or Big Dick Energy. Second song is where, just by the title, you're going to realize what I was just saying a couple minutes ago about pushing that left-wing shit, called Just Stop Oil. Moving on to Goddamn White Trash, kind of another little pushing against the fucking straight white guy thing. And let's move on to New Religion, and then a song called Alert Level, which is pretty cool. Broken System, and then the next song, the song I came in on, called NWO, or New World Order. And this is when finally there's a pit in which, at this point in the show, we're already 2.5 bands in. We're like, okay, now you guys want to start fucking. I guess. That's what you want to do, but that's when there was a pit, and I didn't get into running in the circle, but I did jump to the outer edge because I was getting tired of feeling all the vibrations from all the other people getting pushed into me, and then I was like, let me over here. And there was a couple guys I wanted to make sure when they came around, I give them a good forearm shiver just to let them know I mean business in that pit. Whether you're a runner on the inside or whether you're one of the guys keeping it on the inside. Because there was an older lady that was right next to me. And she didn't want no part of the pit. She was just, you know, and she kind of was like the same way. She's like, oh, now we're going to do this? We're halfway through the set of the last band, and now we're going to, okay, so I have felt her right, just holding on to my arm and stuff. As the way, because it's almost, if you're ever in a pit, it's kind of like a wave of people sometimes going back and forth a little bit. And then you get where it's circling. So, and there was one dude in particular was being kind of an asshole. And he was the one I wanted to really I was like, let me in this fucking edge here. I want this edge. When I had a chance, I got him. I got him good. So, anyway, son of a bitch. Next song out after New World Order was Just One Fix. New World Order and Just One Fix. Off the Psalm 69 album, my favorite album by Ministry. Some of their best stuff, I believe. The next song is called The Missing, Deity, and then the next song is one of my favorites, even though it's not off the Psalm 69 album, it's off a different album. I can't remember what it's called. I think it might even be called Stigmata, but the song is called Stigmata. I just can't remember what the album's called. I think it might be called that, but I'm probably wrong. My bad, guys. Sorry, I'm shitty. But Stigmata. It's an awesome tune. One of the longer tunes in the set as well. Then they played Thieves. And then they played a song that many of you know. Even if you don't recognize like the name of the title, once you hear the song, it's been on commercial. It's private, it's probably played at many, many dance parties just because of one of them songs. It's called Jesus Built My Hot Rod. And, churches may have played this song, maybe. I doubt it. That was a joke. But anyway, it's a good tune. It's like a fast-paced tune. Almost kind of like background music with the vocals of kind of gibberish, but it's kind of catchy at the same time. So, if you get a chance, check it out. That's how they finished up the regular set. But of course, Uncle Al is not going to disappoint. He's going to do a couple more songs, Burning Inside, and another song called So What. And so then he's like, hey, we're not done yet, though. We're going to do another encore. I'm going to bring out Gary Numan to sing this cover song by a band called Fad Gadget. Never heard of them. Probably a reason for that. And they play a song called Ricky's Hand. And that was pretty cool. That's how they finished up the whole entire show. So that's cool. A couple songs I would have had played. I would have played a little more Psalm 69, of course, just because that's how I roll. I like the hardcore Ministry stuff. And especially like if you want to see some actions in the pit happen. Song called Hero would have been on my wish list. Another one called TV2, or AKA Connect the Goddamn Dots. A lot of people know it for that title. And then my personal favorite song overall by Ministry, I think, if I had to pick one, would be Scarecrow off the Psalm 69 album. One of the longest tunes that they ever had. It's like 8.5 minutes. But it's 8.5 minutes of badassery is what it is. And they didn't play that because he wanted to get shitty with some of the other tunes, and try to tell us how we should be living. Anyway, let's just not. I don't want to jump on one thing, then lead it to another, and then I don't want to do that. I like Uncle Al. Maybe don't agree with everything politically on what he's trying to do, but it was a good show. I love watching Ministry. Like I said, it's the second time I've seen him. It's been a few years since I got to see him, almost 5 years. About 4.5 years since I last seen him live, so I was due. Uncle Al still puts on a hell of a performance. Got great musicians behind him. And it was a really fun show. All three bands rocked, man. Another great show. I don't be like on a scale of 1 to 10 or this and that. I don't do all that shit. Was it a great show? Yes. That's all I need. That's all I need. And then I'll just tell you what happened there. If this show happens to come through your area, I don't know how much. I don't think they didn't say anything about it being the last show of the tour or anything like that. So it's probably still going. If it comes to your area, if you don't live around Vegas, and it comes to your area, do yourself a favor and check it out. Like I said, Gary Numan's he's gonna shock you. Gary Numan, he's gonna surprise you. For one, he's gonna surprise you with his height because he's not very tall at all. He's a small man. I was like, man, he's a tiny dude, but his performance wasn't tiny at all. I was, like I said, I'm blown away by Gary Numan. I don't know I'm not gonna sit here and say that he was better than Ministry. It's just from what I expected out of Gary Numan to what I got was awesome, because I wasn't expecting that. That was awesome. It really was. Wow. I'm blown away by Gary Numan. Shout out to him. Ministry as well, of course. Uncle Al and Frontline Assembly. Keep holding down that opening band act, man, because you guys did a good job too. I like your setup. That was cool. You came out and you fired it up for the show. That was cool. You got us going. So, all right, I'm going to get out of here. Yeah, I don't think we need to say anything more about the show. I think we're good. It was a great show. I left. I went home. I almost wanted to do a Tesla review, but I don't have an accurate set list yet of that. I mean, I have a great idea of what they played, but the order, I don't want to get the order wrong. And they switched up the songs from one night to the next, so I don't want to just copy and paste another set list and give you that bullshit. I want to give you the set list of the show that I was at, not one that Joe Blowfuckface was at. This guy was at. I'm out. I got to do some other shit. I got a busy couple days off. I got a lot of stuff going on, guys. So I got to get out of here. Y'all be good. Love each other and be good. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Goddamn fucking do that shit. We're trying to build this as much as we can. Like I said, I don't care about money, but I do want to see the growth of the show. And I'm trying to get my name out there enough with these venues. And one thing that could help me with that is people like you that tell other fellow rockers, hey, you need to check this guy out and give him a whirl. Sometimes he says some funny shit and he's trying to teach you some shit about the bands he's talking about. So let's fucking rock together and fucking do this. Let's go. Lots of shows coming up here in April. Lots of cool shit going on. So, all right, we're going to rock out. Be good now. And make sure you be good and keep rocking, because we got a lot more rocking to do, bitch. And just remember one thing only. Night, night. Keep that ball tight.